Every day, life hands you a gift, time. Yet most people squander this gift, letting it slip through their fingers in the form of mindless scrolling, endless complaining, or simply repeating the same routines, hoping for change that never comes. The truth is, transformation does not require a complete overhaul of your life overnight. It demands a single, powerful decision to claim just 1 hour each day for yourself. This hour is not about rest or escape. It is about intentional growth. When you dedicate 60 focused minutes to building, learning, reflecting, or training, you begin to shift the trajectory of your life. This is not a magical hour, but a mirror reflecting your priorities and self-worth. If you can consistently give yourself this time, you will not recognize yourself in a few months. The process is simple, but not easy. It requires discipline, honesty, and the courage to face your own excuses. You do not need a grand event to change your life. You need a chair, a notebook, a quiet space, and the willingness to show up for yourself. This hour is your edge, your secret weapon, the foundation upon which real, lasting change is built.
The power of 1 hour lies in its ability to sharpen your thinking. When your thoughts are weak, your actions follow suit. But when you use this hour to read, write, move, or build, you begin to ask better questions, make better decisions, and protect your peace. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. This is the kind of change that endures, the kind that transforms not just your habits, but your identity. The hour you claim for yourself is a declaration that your future is worth more than your comfort. It is a daily act of self-respect, a commitment to becoming the person you were meant to be. You do not need to be perfect, brilliant, or fast. You need only to be consistent. When others are tired, you are improving. When others are guessing, you are learning. When others are stuck, you are growing. This is what separates those who live on purpose from those who drift through life. Start simple. Decide what matters most to you and use your hour to pursue it relentlessly. Over time, this single hour will change the way you think, speak, and carry yourself. You will begin to trust yourself again, to keep promises to yourself, and to build a life that reflects your true potential.
Success is not complicated. It is not reserved for the lucky or the chosen few. It is for those who choose it daily, who are willing to say no to distractions and yes to discipline. 1 hour a day is enough to build confidence, clarity, and momentum. In 1 month, that's 30 hours of deliberate growth. In 6 months, it's 180 hours invested in your future. In a year, it's 365 hours spent building, evolving, and becoming, while others remain stuck in the same complaints. The question is not whether you have the time, but whether you are willing to claim it. Life will not wait for you to get ready. If you do not make time for improvement, you will be forced to make time for regret. The choice is yours. Start today. Set a time, make it non-negotiable, and protect it fiercely. This is your life, your hour, your chance to finally choose yourself. If you can give just 1 hour a day, truly give it, you will feel momentum, confidence, and courage building within you. Not someday, not next year, but today. 1 hour a day can change your life if you are ready to finally choose yourself.
The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Most people surrender their mornings to the snooze button, giving away not just minutes, but ownership of their lives. When you hesitate to rise, you allow your habits, moods, and distractions to dictate your day. Over time, this erodes your sense of control, leaving you feeling powerless and reactive. But reclaiming your morning is about more than just waking up early. It is about waking up to your own life. Every day you stay in bed longer than planned is another day you delay your progress. The first decision you make in the morning, whether to rise or to retreat, sets a precedent for every other decision that day. If your first move is hesitation, your next move will be scattered. If your first move is action, your day begins with power. Getting out of bed when you said you would, even when it is uncomfortable, teaches you that you are in control of yourself. This sense of control is the foundation of confidence, discipline, and progress.
Discipline does not begin at the gym, in the office, or with a book. It begins the moment your alarm goes off and you choose to rise. This is where real transformation starts, not in dramatic moments, but in the quiet, unseen choices you make when no one is watching. You do not need to feel excited about waking up. You need only to be willing. Waiting to feel ready is the biggest mistake people make. Progress starts when you move first, not when you feel like it. Those who get ahead in life are not always the smartest or most talented, but they are the most consistent. They show up before the world is awake, using the quiet hours to focus, reflect, and build momentum. One early morning becomes two. Two becomes a week becomes a month, and before you know it, you have built a foundation of discipline and confidence that most people never experience. This is the edge that separates talkers from doers, dreamers from achievers.
Reclaiming your morning is not about being extreme or perfect. It is about consistency. Wake up early enough to work on something that matters to you, not what the world demands, but what your future self will thank you for. Use your morning to get clear, to move your body, to think, to write, to build, to breathe. That 1 hour of ownership makes the next 23 easier to handle. When you begin your day with power, you carry that power with you. But if you begin with delay and distraction, that energy follows you too. Your mindset in the first hour leaks into everything. Protect it. Do not wake up to chaos or your inbox. Wake up with direction and purpose. The comfort of your bed will always feel better in the moment, but that comfort comes at the cost of your goals, your edge, and your future. Over time, that cost adds up in missed opportunities, wasted potential, and frustration. The person you want to become is waiting for you on the other side of discipline. Take back your mornings, your focus, and your day. When you get out of bed with purpose, the world moves differently around you. And more importantly, you move differently within yourself. Your life always moves in the direction of your attention. If your attention is scattered, your life will be scattered. If your attention is focused on things that do not matter, you will spend your energy chasing short-term comfort while your long-term goals fall behind. This is the reality most people avoid. It is easy to say you want success or growth, but it is not about what you say. It is about where your attention goes when no one is watching. If you give your attention to drama, to other people's opinions, to distractions, you are feeding the wrong side of your future. Your attention is your power. Wherever it goes, your energy follows, and wherever your energy goes, your results begin to form. Every day, you get to choose what to think about, what to work on, what to pursue. If you let your mind get pulled into distractions, you will spend your life reacting instead of creating. Most distractions do not even look like distractions at first. They appear as notifications, entertainment, small tasks, or other people's problems. But little by little, they steal your attention from what actually builds you. No one will protect your attention for you. The world profits from your distraction, but your future only grows when you place your attention on things that move you forward. This means training your mind to resist what is easy and choose what matters every day. Ask yourself, what are you really giving your attention to? Are you spending hours thinking about what went wrong, checking who liked your post, or letting fear take up space in your mind? Attention is limited. You do not get it back. If you are not careful, your time and attention will be spent without ever getting you closer to the life you want. To grow, you must decide what actually moves you forward. What skills are worth your time? What goals deserve your full focus? What part of your life needs to be built, not just maintained? When you get clear on that, your attention is no longer just being used, it is being invested. Investments build something. They do not just pass the time, they shape the future. There is a major difference between being busy and being focused. Being busy can make you feel like you are doing something, but being focused actually moves the needle. Real focus demands effort. It demands that you sit down, say no to distractions, and give your full mind to one task. This is uncomfortable because it forces you to face what you've been running from. But the moment you put your attention on what matters, you cannot hide behind excuses anymore. You start to see where you have been wasting time, where your habits need to change, and where you can finally make real progress. This is the beginning of transformation.
Every day, you wake up with time in your hands. Whether you realize it or not, that time is either used to build or to waste. Most people go through their day reacting to everything around them, checking their phone, scrolling through what others are doing, running from one task to the next. By the time the day ends, they have poured hours into things that meant nothing to them. Then they wonder why life feels empty, why they feel stuck, why they do not feel proud of anything. It is because nothing they did that day was meaningful. You have time. Maybe not endless time, maybe not perfectly planned time, but you have time. Inside that time, you have a choice. Spend it doing the same thing you did yesterday, or use it to create something that actually matters to you. This is what separates people who move forward from people who stay stuck. It is not luck or opportunity. It is how they use their time, especially the time no one sees. Building something meaningful takes effort, focus, and the decision to make what matters a priority. Even if no one notices, even if there is no applause, even if it is uncomfortable, you must do it anyway because it matters to you. That is what gives your life meaning. Not just going through routines or checking off to-do lists, but building something with intention, something you can look back on tomorrow and feel proud of. You do not need a perfect plan to start. You do not need to wait for the right mood. What you need is to sit down and use what you have: your mind, your time, your energy, your vision. Maybe it's writing a page in a book, recording your ideas, designing something, building your health, or learning a skill that pushes you closer to your next level. The point is not what you build, but that you start building something. When you do, you begin to feel purpose again. You stop floating, stop chasing motivation, and start creating a reason to wake up tomorrow with clarity. Most people do not need a vacation. They need a reason. They need something in their life that reminds them their time matters. Your time is not just for surviving, it is for building, for doing something that outlasts the moment. You do not have to do everything in one day, but you do have to start. Give yourself permission to work on your vision, even if it is small, even if it is quiet. If you keep waiting for the perfect window, it will never come. Life does not slow down so you can catch up. You have to create the space to grow inside the life you already have. There is real strength in showing up for your own goals, especially when no one else understands them. You do not need permission or applause. You need consistency. Remind yourself daily that your time is valuable, and what you do with it will shape your future. That is not pressure, that is power. Use today to build something that brings you closer to the life you want. Do not let comparison distract you or someone else's timeline make you feel behind. You are not late, you are just distracted. The fastest way back to progress is to sit down and begin again.
Growth does not come from doing more, it comes from knowing more. Not just knowing random information, but learning something useful, something that changes how you think, act, and show up. Every day, you have the chance to learn something that can make your life better, sharpen your judgment, help you make better decisions, and build your confidence. Most people never take that chance. They wait, get caught up in the noise, and choose entertainment over education. Then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they keep repeating the same patterns, why nothing ever changes. If you want to grow, you must become a person who learns on purpose. Not once a week, not when it is convenient, but every single day. You do not have to study for hours or need a classroom. You just need one useful idea, one concept that helps you understand life better, one insight that helps you handle stress, people, money, time, relationships, or responsibility.
Your next level depends on what you know. You cannot act better until you think better, and you will not think better until you learn better. Every problem you face is either something you already know how to solve or something you have not learned how to deal with yet. When you stop learning, your growth stops too. You stay stuck at the level of your last breakthrough, recycling the same thoughts, using the same approach, and making the same mistakes, not because you are not trying hard enough, but because you have not learned a better way yet. One useful thing a day. That is the mindset. It could be from a book, a podcast, a quote, a conversation, or even a mistake that finally clicks. The source does not matter. The usefulness does. Is it something you can apply? Is it something that changes how you look at your time, effort, or future? Growth is when you take one clear idea and start living by it, not just hearing it, but understanding it, thinking about it, and applying it.
Learning does not require genius. It requires hunger, a hunger to improve, to figure things out, to stop staying stuck in the same spot. You can learn from anything if you are paying attention, but most people are distracted. They spend more time scrolling than thinking, looking for quick answers instead of deep understanding, chasing hacks but avoiding mastery. That is why they do not grow. It's not a lack of potential, it's a lack of focused learning. If you want to live a better life, you have to learn how life works, how your mind works, how your habits shape your future, how to manage your emotions, how to build things that last, how to speak in a way that creates trust, how to think long-term, and how to move with purpose. None of that happens by accident. It happens when you sit down every day and ask, what can I learn today that will make me better tomorrow? Learning one useful thing a day might not look like much at first, but it adds up. 30 days from now, you'll be 30 ideas smarter, with 30 new tools and 30 layers of growth. Consistency in learning is the foundation of lasting transformation.
Your body is the vessel that carries your dreams, your ambitions, and your energy. Yet most people neglect this vessel, allowing it to become sluggish, tired, and weak through inactivity. They sit for hours, drained not by action, but by inaction. When you do not use your body with purpose, you lose the energy, clarity, and strength that your goals demand. Doing something physical every day is not just about looking good. It is about waking up fully, being present, and reminding yourself that you are capable of more than just sitting and watching life pass by. You do not need to become an athlete or have a gym membership. You need action, movement, and the willingness to push yourself, not for appearance, but for performance, mental strength, and discipline. When you move your body, you shift your mind. The fog lifts, the tension releases, and the excuses get quieter. You feel alive again. Physical discipline spills over into every other area of your life. When you challenge yourself to move when you do not want to, you teach your mind how to act without needing permission from your feelings. That is strength. That is how you learn to keep your promises to yourself. You will never regret moving your body, but you will regret the days you kept putting it off. Every time you skip movement, you train yourself to tolerate low energy and to settle. Over time, that becomes your new normal. But you can change that with one decision to move today. Find something that works for you. Walking, bodyweight exercises, stretching, dancing. It does not have to be impressive, it has to be consistent. The more you move, the more alive you feel. Your body was made to move. Do not let it waste away from inactivity. Doing something physical first thing in the morning can set the tone for your entire day. You start with intention, activate your strength, and remind yourself that you have control. This is ownership, and ownership is where transformation begins. In a world obsessed with speed and productivity, most people rush through life without ever checking how they actually feel. They wake up, jump into tasks, check their phone, and fall asleep without pausing to reflect. Slowing down feels uncomfortable, so they keep moving, believing that being productive means staying busy. But real progress does not come from constant movement. It comes from awareness. You cannot fix what you are not willing to face, and you cannot face anything if you never pause long enough to notice it. Growth requires you to slow down, make space to reflect, and ask yourself the hard questions. What am I avoiding? What am I angry about? What am I holding on to that is no longer helping me? These questions do not show up in a rush. They show up when you give yourself time to sit with yourself and be honest. It is easy to get lost in tasks and routines, to go days, weeks, or even years without stopping to check what is really going on inside. You might be succeeding on the outside and falling apart inside. You might be performing well, but feeling empty. You might be smiling in front of people, but frustrated when you're alone. No one else will know it because you have learned how to hide it well. But you will know it. That silent pressure inside you does not go away. It builds. If you do not face it, it will break you. You do not need more noise. You need clarity. You need a moment of quiet, permission to pause, not to escape, but to listen to your own thoughts, emotions, and needs. Sometimes the answers you are looking for are already inside. You've just been moving too fast to hear them. Slowing down is not weakness, it is strength. It is choosing to become aware, to face what is real, instead of pretending everything is fine. Build the habit of checking in with yourself daily. Create time to breathe, think, and ask yourself what is working and what is not. This is not about overthinking, it is about getting real and taking responsibility for your inner world, because your inner world shapes your outer results. If your thoughts are messy, your decisions will be scattered. If your emotions are heavy, your energy will be low. If your mind is full of noise, your focus will be weak. Spend quiet time with yourself. No distractions, no music, no phone, just you and your thoughts. Sit still and ask yourself, what is actually going on? Are you carrying resentment? Are you afraid of something? Are you stuck in a pattern that no longer fits your life? When you ask these questions honestly, you start to see clearly. You stop lying to yourself, and that is when change becomes possible. Awareness is not a one-time thing. It is a lifelong practice. The deeper your life gets, the deeper your awareness needs to be. Do not be afraid to go there. Slowing down is not about doing less. It is about living with more clarity, purpose, and depth. There is always that one problem you keep pushing aside. It lingers in the background, showing up when you're alone, haunting your thoughts and draining your energy. You tell yourself you will handle it later, but later never comes. You bury it under distractions, responsibilities, and excuses, but it never truly disappears. Deep down, you know that no real progress will happen in your life until you stop running and deal with it. You do not need more time or motivation. You need to stop avoiding it and finally face it. That problem you keep pushing away, the conversation you've been putting off, the decision you keep dodging, the habit you haven't changed, the responsibility you have delayed, is not going anywhere. Ignoring it has not made it disappear. If anything, it has been growing quietly, shaping your energy, focus, and self-respect.
Every time you walk away from your problem, you give it more power. Eventually, it begins to shape your life, not because it is unsolvable, but because running from something important always weakens your momentum. You know the problem. No one needs to point it out. It is the thing you think about when your mind is quiet, the thing you do not want to talk about but cannot seem to shake. Not fixing it is already costing you peace, draining your energy, and keeping you from fully showing up in your life. You do not need to fix everything or solve every issue right now, but you do need to pick the one thing you have been avoiding and start working through it, one step at a time. The longer you avoid it, the heavier it becomes. That weight does not go away, it just hides behind your busyness. But the moment you face it head-on, something changes. You stop running, stop lying to yourself, and stop letting fear decide for you. That is when real change begins.
Facing a problem does not mean you need to solve it perfectly. It means you stop pretending it is not there. You stop minimizing it. Stop acting like you are okay with it when you're not. The first step is acknowledgement. Not blaming, not complaining, just telling yourself the truth. I have been avoiding this, and it is holding me back. That sentence alone can break the pattern. Fixing something does not always look dramatic. It could be a single phone call, a small change in your routine, a decision to forgive, to quit, or to begin again. What makes it powerful is the intention behind it. You are no longer running. You are stepping into responsibility, reclaiming your ability to direct your life instead of letting unresolved issues pull you in every direction. You might feel fear or resistance, but those feelings do not mean you shouldn't do it. They just mean you are touching something real, and real things are worth facing. Avoidance might feel safe in the short term, but it always leads to long-term damage. Freedom only comes when you stop avoiding the one thing that keeps you stuck. Fixing the problem you've been running from will change the way you see yourself, build your confidence, and unlock a new level of focus, peace, and drive. If you are not tracking what you are doing, you are guessing. When you guess, you lose control of your results, relying on memory, emotion, and assumption instead of facts. This is how people end up working hard without moving forward. They think they're doing enough, but when you look at the actual effort, it is inconsistent. Some days they show up, some days they do not. Some days they focus, most days they're distracted. That is not how change happens. That is how frustration builds. There is something powerful about writing things down, writing with your own hand on paper. When you track what you do, you bring structure to your growth. You stop being vague, get honest, and see clearly. You no longer say, I think I am doing okay. You know if you are because you have the proof right in front of you. When you see the pattern, you start to understand your behavior on a different level.
Tracking your actions does not have to be complicated. It is simple. What did you do today that moved you closer to your goals? What did you avoid? Where did you spend most of your time? What can you improve tomorrow? These are not just questions, they are mirrors reflecting the truth you cannot hide from. The page does not lie. The notebook does not care about your excuses. It only shows your patterns, and your patterns determine your life. Most people fail to stay consistent because they are not aware of how inconsistent they really are. They start strong, then fall off. They do something great on Monday and forget it by Friday. They wait for motivation to return, but it does not. Not because they are lazy or don't care, but because they have no system in place, no tracking, no review, no rhythm. Without rhythm, you lose flow, discipline, and momentum.
Daily tracking is how you keep yourself honest and build real accountability, not to anyone else, but to yourself. At the end of the day, ask, did I do what I said I would? That one question can change your life because it forces you to measure effort, not just intention. It forces you to deal with facts, not feelings. You do not need to be perfect or hit every goal every day. You just need to show up and track. Did you try? Did you push forward, even a little? That matters. You build confidence by keeping promises to yourself, and you keep promises by being consistent. Consistency does not mean massive action. It means showing up, even when you do not feel like it, doing what you said you would do, especially on the hard days. If you track your habits for just 30 days, you will learn more about yourself than most people learn in years. You will see when you perform best, notice your distractions, recognize your emotional patterns, and find out where your excuses hide. This kind of awareness puts you in the driver's seat. You stop being reactive, stop guessing, and start leading your life. Consistency is the real secret to transformation, and tracking is the tool that makes it possible.
Becoming better does not happen in a day. It does not come from one breakthrough, one book, or one decision. It comes from repetition, showing up day after day and doing what most people stop doing after a week. Real change is slow and uncomfortable. It does not ask you how you feel. It asks you to commit anyway. You do not need to be extreme or impressive. You just need to be consistent with the habits that matter, and not for a little while, but for as long as it takes. If you want to be stronger, sharper, more disciplined, more focused, and more in control, you have to repeat the habits that build those things, not once, not when it is easy, but over and over until those actions become a part of who you are. That is when you know you have changed, not because you said you would, but because your actions no longer require negotiation. They happen because they are who you are now. This is where most people fall short. They want the result, but they will not repeat the process. They start something good, do it for a few days, and then fall off. Not because they cannot do it, but because they expected change to happen fast. It does not. You do not become better because you tried hard for a week. You become better because you kept going long after the excitement wore off. That is where character is built, where the old version of you gets left behind. You do not grow from what you do occasionally. You grow from what you do daily. That small habit, reading, journaling, walking, meditating, training, planning, if you stick to it, will change you. It will shape your thinking, shift your mood, and harden your focus. You will not notice it overnight. That's the point. It sneaks up on you. One day you will look back and realize, I am not who I used to be. Not because you made one big move, but because you kept choosing to show up when it was not fun anymore. Repetition is not glamorous. It is boring, quiet, and filled with doubts. You will not always see the reward right away. That is why it is hard and why most people quit. But those who stay with it are the ones who actually evolve. They understand that the habit is more important than the feeling, the action more important than the mood. They have learned that showing up imperfectly beats waiting for perfect conditions. Repetition builds trust, not with others, but with yourself. Every time you do what you said you would, you prove to yourself that your words mean something. You stop being someone who breaks promises to yourself, stop negotiating with laziness, and stop letting emotion control your direction. You begin to move with clarity and expect more from yourself, not because someone told you to, but because you have seen what is possible when you are consistent. The world is loud with shortcuts, but those shortcuts rob you of the process, and the process is where growth lives. The habit is where real transformation happens, not in what you say you will do, but in what you do repeatedly. Repetition doesn't just build discipline, it changes identity. When you repeat a habit long enough, it stops being something you do and becomes part of who you are. That is how you become someone better, how you take control of your life, not with noise or speed, but with quiet, focused, relentless repetition.
Your environment is the silent architect of your habits, mindset, and ultimately your destiny. Most people underestimate how much their surroundings shape their daily actions and long-term growth. If you spend your time in a cluttered, noisy, or negative space, your mind will mirror that chaos. But when you intentionally design your environment, physically and socially, you create a foundation for success. This means decluttering your workspace, surrounding yourself with reminders of your goals, and minimizing distractions that pull you away from your purpose. More importantly, it means choosing to spend time with people who inspire you, challenge you, and hold you to a higher standard. The right environment doesn't just make good habits easier, it makes bad habits harder. If you want to read more, keep books within reach. If you want to eat healthier, stock your kitchen with nourishing foods. If you want to focus, silence your phone and create a space that signals to your brain this is where growth happens. Your environment should be a reflection of the person you are becoming, not the person you are trying to leave behind. Change your surroundings and you will find it much easier to change yourself. Remember, you rise or fall to the level of your environment. Make it your ally, not your enemy. Accountability is the invisible force that turns intentions into results. While self-discipline is powerful, even the strongest willpower can falter in isolation. That's why the most successful people build systems of accountability into their lives. This could mean sharing your goals with a trusted friend, joining a mastermind group, or working with a mentor who challenges you to stay on track. When you know someone else is watching, expecting, and supporting your progress, you are far less likely to give in to excuses or procrastination. Accountability transforms vague promises into concrete commitments. It creates a sense of responsibility, not just to yourself, but to others who believe in your potential. The fear of disappointing someone you respect can be a powerful motivator, but so can the encouragement and feedback you receive when you make progress. Don't try to do everything alone. Seek out people who will push you, question you, and celebrate your wins. Make your progress visible, track it, share it, and let others hold you to your word. In the end, accountability is not about pressure, it's about partnership. It's about building a support system that makes your success inevitable. In a culture that glorifies hustle and constant productivity, rest is often seen as weakness. But the truth is, rest and recovery are the secret weapons of high performers. Your mind and body are not machines. They need time to recharge, repair, and grow stronger. Without intentional rest, your creativity fades, your focus blurs, and your motivation dries up. True growth happens not just in the hours you work, but in the hours you recover. Sleep is not a luxury, it's a necessity for mental clarity, emotional stability, and physical health. Mindful breaks throughout the day allow your brain to process information, spark new ideas, and prevent burnout. Recovery is not just about sleep. It's about stepping away from your work, spending time in nature, practicing meditation, or simply enjoying moments of stillness. When you honor your need for rest, you return to your work with renewed energy, sharper focus, and a deeper sense of purpose. Remember, you are not lazy for resting. You are wise. The most successful people in the world protect their rest as fiercely as their work. Make recovery a non-negotiable part of your routine and watch your productivity and well-being soar. Failure is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your greatest growth. Every setback, mistake, or disappointment carries within it the seeds of wisdom and resilience. Most people fear failure so much that they never take real risks. But the truth is,
Failure is inevitable on the path to success. What matters is not whether you fall, but how you respond when you do. Do you use failure as an excuse to quit, or as a lesson to improve? The most successful people are not those who never fail, but those who fail forward, who analyze their mistakes, extract the lessons, and try again with greater insight. Setbacks are not signs that you are unworthy or incapable. They are proof that you are pushing your limits and daring to grow. Embrace your failures. Write down what went wrong, what you learned, and how you will approach things differently next time. Share your struggles with others, and you will find that you are not alone. Every failure is a stepping stone to mastery, a test of your character, and an opportunity to build unshakable confidence. Remember, the only true failure is giving up. Everything else is progress in disguise.
Gratitude is the antidote to dissatisfaction, and positivity is the fuel for resilience. In the pursuit of growth, it's easy to focus on what's missing, what's wrong, or what's not yet achieved. But when you practice gratitude, you shift your attention to what's already good in your life. This simple act rewires your brain to notice abundance instead of lack, opportunities instead of obstacles. Start each day by listing 3 things you are grateful for, no matter how small. This habit will transform your mindset, making you more optimistic, motivated, and resilient in the face of challenges. Positivity is not about ignoring problems. It's about choosing to see solutions, to believe in your ability to overcome, and to spread hope to those around you. When you combine gratitude with a positive outlook, you become a magnet for good things. Your energy lifts others, your confidence grows, and your setbacks become easier to handle. Gratitude and positivity are not just feel-good emotions, they are powerful tools for mental strength, emotional stability, and lasting happiness. Make them a daily practice and watch your entire life transform. Emotional intelligence is the foundation of self-mastery and meaningful relationships. It is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, as well as to empathize with the emotions of others. Most people are controlled by their feelings, reacting impulsively to stress, anger, or fear. But when you develop emotional intelligence, you gain the power to respond instead of react. You learn to pause, reflect, and choose your actions with intention. This skill allows you to navigate conflict with grace, build trust with others, and maintain your composure under pressure. Emotional intelligence also means being honest with yourself about what you feel and why. It means asking, "What is this emotion trying to teach me?" and using that insight to grow. The most influential leaders, partners, and friends are those who can connect on an emotional level, who listen deeply, and who communicate with empathy. Start by observing your emotional patterns, journaling your feelings, and practicing active listening in your conversations. The more you understand your emotions, the more control you have over your life. Emotional intelligence is not a gift, it is a skill you can build, and it will elevate every area of your existence. Visualization and goal setting are the twin engines that drive achievement. When you set clear, specific goals, you give your mind a target to aim for, a reason to focus, persist, and overcome obstacles. But goal setting alone is not enough. Visualization brings your goals to life, making them feel real and attainable. When you close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself succeeding, seeing, hearing, and feeling every detail, you activate the same neural pathways as if you were actually living that experience. This mental rehearsal builds confidence, reduces anxiety, and programs your subconscious to seek out opportunities that align with your vision. Write your goals down, break them into actionable steps, and review them daily.
Spend a few minutes each morning visualizing your success, feeling the emotions of achievement, and believing that it is possible. The combination of clear goals and powerful visualization transforms your mindset from maybe to inevitable. You stop drifting and start directing your life with purpose. Remember, what you can see in your mind, you can create in your reality. Make visualization and goal setting a daily ritual and watch your dreams become your destiny. True fulfillment is found not just in personal achievement, but in serving others and building meaningful relationships. In a world that often glorifies individual success, it's easy to forget that we are wired for connection and contribution. When you help others grow, support their dreams, or simply offer a listening ear, you create a ripple effect of positivity that returns to you in unexpected ways. Serving others does not mean neglecting your own needs. It means recognizing that your greatest impact comes from lifting others as you climb. Strong relationships are built on trust, empathy, and genuine care. Invest time in nurturing your friendships, family bonds, and professional networks. Celebrate others' successes, offer encouragement in their struggles, and be present in their lives. The more you give, the more you receive, not just in material terms, but in joy, meaning, and a sense of belonging. Remember, no one succeeds alone. The relationships you build and the lives you touch will become your greatest legacy. Make service and connection a core part of your daily life, and you will find that your own growth accelerates in ways you never imagined.